russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros. Yeah. All right, Jeff, let's get back to the clip, please. Enough with this nonsense.
All right, there's 3 of them I want to play for you, and here's the first one.
You came back in August of 2021. You said when you left Ring of Honor, you left pro wrestling in 2005, and now you were coming back to pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole chunk in WWE you were kind of excluding.
Yeah.
Do you regret saying that?
I don't regret saying that. I think I was catering. I was probably maybe leaning a little bit too much towards that niche audience, because they're like, yeah. I was sold on AEW being very much an alternative to what WWE was. And, that's the biggest shame to me is this is the last chance. I like competitors. I like guys being able to be like, oh, well, I can go over here and make X amount of money, that's good for the business. It's good for the boys, but when you're there, I guaranteed money almost kind of ruined pro wrestling, if you had to get paid based off the house, the place would be drastically different.
Because it would drive you, it would push you.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think, oh shit, this isn't working. It's live. Okay, so pivot. Do something else. What is going to get people into the building? That's the short time I had where I was in charge of Collision. That's the way I did things. What did we draw here last time? Okay, my goal is to get 1 more ticket sold. And I did that. What were the ratings last time? Okay, we're going to, and you work incrementally.
Wow. Al talks about that all the time. What do you think, Al?
That all sounds very familiar. I wonder where, somebody else has said a lot of the same stuff. The problem is, when I say it, I'm bitter, I'm condemned. The business has passed me by. Tell me I'm completely off base.
That was almost word for word what you said about the guaranteed contracts.
I think you're off base because when you say this, because when you say the same things, people tend to not like you because you kayfabe everybody. They know. So they're not going to put you over. You can't expect people you kayfabe to put you over, bro. It's one or the other, Al.
You were such a bag of doorknobs. You know that. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Stack of hammers.
Yeah.
Sharp as a bag of wet flour. I mean,
look at Al's little rainbow he's got there, his little foofy room. Look at him. All right, Al, go ahead. Yes, Al has absolutely, without a doubt, said this.
I've preached that for years.
Yes, motivation.
For years, and motivation, and we have talked about this, about the fact that if especially remember, you were there during the PG, what these guys think it's a PG era. They had no idea. They weren't there during the In Your House era. Mm-hmm. That was G-rated wrestling. Am I not correct?
Yep.
I mean, you couldn't do nothing.
Remember that character? The USA gimmick was characters are welcome. Remember that time you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes, and for Steve Austin to have went out there and he took a huge risk. And I know it sounds silly when you've got The Rock today on TV cursing on a weekly basis. Okay. I get that. But when you really break it down, Steve Austin took an incredible risk. Vince was very angry about the fact that all he said was, Austin 316 says, I just whooped your ass. That was sacrilegious. That was heresy. And you could not, and he was taking a risk doing it. It was totally on his own. And the reason he took that risk, because he had, at that time, your contract was you were guaranteed 12 dates at $100 a date. That was TV. Granted, they didn't tell you that they filmed TV over 3 days and you were out for 3 days a month and you only made $100. And the only way you made money was if you became the thing that drew the house and actually drew a house, sold tickets, made ratings, sold merchandise. And that's what motivated him to take that risk and to be that creative and to go that direction. If that motivation had not been there, if he were job scared because he had something to lose. He had a guaranteed or even a downside guaranteed contract, meaning he had a base amount of money that he was putting at risk. He might not have done it. He might not have taken the chance and went, I don't want to, in their terms, in the new wrestling vernacular, get fired, which is impossible to fire a professional wrestler. They're never hired. They're not employees. And that's where that mindset's now developed, even onto the independents, where that mindset and this mindset is sometimes propagated by veterans who are in the business now of, well, you wrestled for them, so you're entitled to get paid. You don't get paid to wrestle. You get paid to draw an audience. And if an audience doesn't show up to see you wrestle, there's no money to pay you. Your value's in direct relationship. It has been, and it should always be in direct relationship to the audience that you motivate to want to watch you perform your job, your task. And that's why you get paid. That's why accountants don't get paid based off of who watches them, because nobody's going to watch them do their job. Nobody's going to pay to see them be an accountant. But if you are good at what you do as an entertainer, they will pay to see you do your job.
Hey, Al, I want to ask you a question, because see, here's the problem with a lot of people that, like watch this show and they don't know they don't know history. They don't understand history. They're
not in the wrestling business. These people that watch this show are fans.
Well, I want
to ask great.
I want to ask you this though, Al.
Understand this,
Al. This all changed without a shadow of a doubt. The entire business model changed when Eric Bischoff, wanted to lure people over from the WWE to WCW. And bro, in doing that, I mean, it paid off hugely for, WCW. We know the 83 weeks. We know the entire story.
Sure.
So looking back, like, was that wrong for Eric to do? I mean, he knew what he had to do to get those guys over from a business point of view. But like I said, like you said, looking at it today, you changed the entire way the boys work. Yeah,
you're right. And I don't know if it necessarily was wrong for him to do. I'm sure it was a necessity that he felt that he had to do to be able to compete for that type of talent, to be able to access and acquire that kind of talent, because at the time, WWF, Vince McMahon, had a stranglehold in regards to being able to attract workers. And again, let's understand the term worker. A worker is somebody who can work an audience, enable an audience to believe in the illusion that they are genuinely who they say they are, and they're out there competing in a prize-fighting, competitive combat situation. That's essentially what professional wrestling is. There's no, that's why you hear me make fun of that term work rate.
Right.
Because it's a made up, ridiculous term. It doesn't make any sense in the context of what it is you're really attempting to do. And now that was why the territories went away, because Vince didn't destroy the territories. Vince just hired up all of the work, brought and gave them a greater opportunity as far as workers were concerned. And they all migrated to WWF. And in doing so, it left no one but wrestlers in the territories. Thus, wrestlers don't draw money. Now we have a business that's literally, in a large part of this is because of that guaranteed, or I'm entitled to get paid, I could get fired mindset. Okay. We have wrestlers. Wrestlers don't take chances. Wrestlers play it safe. Wrestlers sell what they do. Workers sell who they are and sell their intent and the consequence thereof. Convince the audience, get them to buy into, believe firmly in those things. And that's where you're at, and I know there'll be, people that will argue and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Business is better than it's ever been. Sure, it is. Because, you've got some key people now that are doing what? They're working the audience, letting them believe. Because the only way you can ever tell a story is if you sell who they are and why they're doing it, and convince the audience, let them buy into those two concepts, thus getting carried along with the story. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
But you can't take the creative risks that are necessary and are a necessity to grow the wrestling business without that motivation that, hey, if I don't do this, man, I'm not gonna make any money. I'm gonna starve. Starving is an incredible motivator. Hunger and pain are incredible motivators. Hunger, pain, and heartbreak are the best motivators in life.
Yeah.
They'll make you get up and move and do something and change your situation. And you've taken away a big motivating factor in that creativity when you have given a talent, which good for them. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. But you've taken away a big edge to them by having a guaranteed contract.
Yeah. Also, too, part of being a worker, part of being a worker too, bro, you're like, seriously, another aspect of being a worker is exactly what Al said. But, bro, you're working the audience out of their money. Yeah. Because they believe what that's what you do. That's why, bro, I always make the correlation between wrestlers and strippers because they do the same exact thing. Yes, that one stripper makes you believe that she's in love with you.
You have a chance.
And therefore you're going to fork over that cash. But
Jeff, you don't have a chance.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Jeff, speaking of,
go to the bank, get $2 bills. They look like 20s, Jeff, in that light. Okay.
Yeah.
You will get over on the stripper. Ha ha, touche.
Meanwhile, Jeff, speaking of workers, Al at his age, Al and I are the same age. Al is, as we speak, working the people, making them believe, bro, he's got this awesome physique at his age when he wears T-shirts 3 times too small. You would think the guy owns collar and elbow. You would think you've got 2XL. But no, why do you come on to here every week with a medium?
Because, and it's not a medium, it's
a medium.
It helps to lift and separate. That's what it does.
Look at you. Look at him, bro, all puffy, getting ready to walk through with Bubba the ECW arena for the hell of it. All right, Jeff,
I'm gonna wear a medium shirt there.
What's up, Brand? This is Jeff Lane inviting you to come hang out with me over on Twitch. I'm live several nights a week playing games, classic and new, currently going through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the new Contra game, and more. So check me out, Jeff Lane 22 on Twitch.
Mike Durban was on here and he was talking about the Conan Major Bendy's action figure. You got one too, don't you, Vince? Yeah. These are high quality, like the high quality packaging, high quality art, high quality figures.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
But Durban wasn't kidding, guys. These are real high quality. So you can even get these autographed. MikeDurban.com. Check them out before they're gone.